Everybody is here. They just have to come sit. That's all. This camera is off. Sorry, can you please?
It's on right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Is that okay? Thank you. That's great.
Just doing a recording.
Yes, yes,
We have
please.
some mishap.
Absolutely.
Okay.
शुरू करें? It was coming on that tripod. Can you take away that tripod, please? Perfect, thank you. Yeah, start again. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The subversion of the Mangala Charanam, very beautiful subversion. It's not the kind of subversion that is done, to sabotage the tradition. It is more of a subversion where you find that you wanted to have an experience, but you find that you are the experience that you wanted to have. It's that kind of a subversion. And we can relate to it better, perhaps, with a little story in the form of an experience, my own experience, which I had a few years before the pandemic. I went to the annual Mirabai convention in Mirabai's native place called Ghane Rao in Rajasthan. There was her maternal side native place. And I met the descendants, and then I also was told that the Krishna that was given to her to worship by her mother was right there. Would I like to have darshan? Speaking of darshan. Yes. I said, yes, I want to go, I want to see. And I said, can I please take a picture? Because it is so rare that I don't know if I'll ever come again. They said, generally we do not allow, but for you, yes, no problem. Go and take a picture. So I went with my phone. And then I went there, and it was very beautiful, small murti, very beautiful. And in this little shrine that they had, and then I approached, and I was on the knees because I wanted to be at the eye level. And then a prayer somehow escaped my mind and my lips, and even without me wanting that. And what was the prayer? The prayer was, what is it that you showed Meera? Show me what you showed Meera by. And then, a flower from his head fell, which we say is a very auspicious sign, that's what they say. And then I turned the camera setting, and then very interestingly, something happened. I had not touched the camera setting at all. But this is after all Krishna, the trickster in the form of the teacher. I found myself looking at myself inside the camera instead of looking at Lord Krishna. Show me what you showed Mirabai. I showed her herself. I'm showing you yourself. Then I said, okay, point taken. So I have that picture somewhere. I'll try to find it for you. So then, this is exactly what this darshan is like. It's a subversion of the darshan, just like the camera switch was flipped without anybody's knowledge. A sleight of hand whose we will never know. And so here the Mangala Charanam is like that camera switch, switching it to selfie mode. That is how to abide. That is how to abide in the Sat. Go to self from trying to search for the self in everything else, which is the non-self. From self, go to selfie mode. That is why I had to narrate this story, you see. Yeah. Go to the selfie mode. In the selfie mode, what is happening? You are looking at yourself without objectifying yourself. And what is the beauty of this? How to look at yourself without objectifying yourself? Because you are being. You are no longer seeing at this point, trying to see. You already have a triputi, a threefold split. Seer, seen and sight. Here there is no seer, no seeing, no sight that is other than you. The content, the truth of the seer is you. That which you crave to see is you. And that, the means of seeing, the darshan, is also you. And so, how are we going to worship this self? How do we say Atmane Namaha? By saying Aham Brahmasmi. That is the only way of worshipping this Atma as what? As the very being of myself. The worshipping is the being. Worshipping the being is being that which I am worshipping. This is what is the first purport of the first one. Very beautiful. And then Tasya Spritihi Tatra Dridha Nishtha. Dridha Nishtha means extremely beautiful and certain abidance. An abidance with certainty. And what kind of certainty? Certainty means an unshakable certainty. There is no room for doubt, there is no room for error, there is no room for any kind of vagueness. I know I am Brahman, but let me experience Brahman. No such doubts are there. Then the second verse is also a Mangalacharanam. Here the Ishta Devata in the convention, sometimes first the Atma is recognized, and then what we call the Ishta Devata, Bhagavan in the form of a desirable Devata, like Rama, Krishna, a favorite deity of worship, Durga, goddess, Parvati, etc. So this is the Ishta Devata worship, and here too, surprise, surprise, is the sleight of hand and subversion. Let us see how the second Mangalacharanam is handled by Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. Mrityunjayam mrityubhiyashritanam. Will you agree that this needs a redo? Mrityunjayam mrityubhiyashritanam. Jayam mrityubhiyashritanam. Aham matir mrityumupaiti purvam. Aham मतिर्मृत्युमुपैति पूर्वम् अथ स्वभावादमृतेषु तेषु कथं पुनर्मृत्युधियो विकाशः कथं पुनर्मृत्युधियो विकाशः. So this is together, we do that again. मृत्युञ्जयं मृत्युभियाश्रितानाम् अहं मतिर्मृत्युमुपैति पूर्वम् अथ स्वभावादमृतेषु तेषु कथं पुनर्मृत्युधियो वकाशः. So the Ishta Devata is who? Mrityunjaya. Who is Mrityunjaya? Lord Shiva, in the form of the one who has conquered death. There are two ways of understanding this. The traditional understanding is, the colloquial understanding is what? Conquering death means what? Oh, if I have fear of mortality, I take recourse to Lord Shiva and pray to Lord Shiva because I have fear of mortality. And then when I join my hands, when I fold my hands in front of Lord Shiva, what will I get? Freedom from death. This is the idea. Any sickness? OMG. Let me recite Mrityunjaya mantra. Trambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtiya, etc., etc. This is what one does. There is a desperation. And then there is a kind of a, what is that, time is of the greatest essence because kalo sarvasya bhakshakah. Kalo sarva bhakshakah. Kalas sarva bhakshakah means the kala, the time indeed is the one. Kalaha, this time is the eater of everybody. Everything happens in time. Life wears away in time. And so here, that is exactly what is talked about. Kalaha sarva bhakshakah. And so this kala is the one that is eating everything up, and I am in the spate of time, and so I want to be timeless. And so how do I want to be timeless? I want to live forever and ever and ever. So if I am sick, I take recourse to Bhagavan in the form of Lord Shiva. Help, don't make me sick, make me well, make my family well. Give us long life, give us luck, give us good fortune, give us health, give us all these things. And technically that is how it is done. But here, he has a very beautiful twist on who this Mrityunjaya is and what is the job of Ishvara Bhagavan in the form of Mrityunjaya. So, first line says, what does it say? Mrityunjayam Mrityubhya Shritanam. Mrityunjayam means the Mrityubhya means by the fear of death. Ashritanam, by the fear of death, those who have taken refuge in whom? Mrityunjaya. In this Lord, who come to this Lord? Those who are afraid of death only will come, correct? So those who are afraid of death have taken recourse to this Lord. And then what did this Lord do? Kill. Arey, I told him not to kill. I told him not to kill. I thought it is a no-kill Lord. But he kills. What does he kill? He kills the fear of death itself. That is what he does. What a beautiful twist in understanding the purport of Mrityunjaya. Bhagavan as Mrityunjaya is not in the business of just giving some lease of life. Because everything is just a lease of life. We are all leasing this body-mind complex from Lord Yama in any case. And then sometimes he says, okay, I need a coffee break, I'm going to Starbucks. I see that you have started to do yoga. Okay, I'll come back after a few months or a few years. You're just buying time. That's all. The body has to go. And the more one is identified with the body, one feels that one is the one who is going. I am the one who is going. And that is what one feels. And so I am the one who's going, I am the one who is this, and I am the one who is stuck here. This is how one feels. But the feeling is not the reality, is it? No. What you feel is completely, totally different from what is real. And what is real is the truth of oneself as that which is not subject to death in the first place. What is born dies. What is a product falls apart. What is put together falls apart. Body put together or not? Why you have to think so long? I'm getting scared. Body is put together? Yes. Mind is put together or not? Yes. Senses put together or not? Yes. So that which is put together has to go. There's no other way. You can just buy 5 more years by doing yoga, and you can go get Ayurvedic massage, buy a few more years, and whatever other things, just like this. And homeopathy, this pathy, that pathy, ultimately only 2 pathies, psychopathy, sociopathy, that's all is left. Every other pathy has been tried. That's all is left. So, what are you going to do? But oh, I don't want to go. You cannot go. I don't want my loved ones to go. They are also going to go. You are also, going to go. Meaning what? Body. The body identified I is what is afraid. The mind identified, body identified, sense identified I. Misidentified I is afraid of death. Because it is identified with the body, it thinks, I am ready to depart and I have to go. I don't want to go. Why? Because I want that which is limitless. So what am I going to do? Break a coconut in front of Lord Shiva. Is Lord Shiva waiting for your coconut? Please tell me. Yeah? No, not at all. So better than to do a little flip on this prayer itself. So who goes to Lord Mrityunjaya? This is very clear. Those who are afraid of death. And Mrityunjaya says, die. To whom? To the fear of death itself is swallowed by which Mrityunjaya? Because Mrityunjayati iti Mrityunjaya, the one who has conquered death, meaning to that entity, to that version of Ishvara, unto him we go and lay at the altar of surrender. The fear of death is laid. That's why it's called an altar of surrender. Why? Because now you are altered as a result of the altar. You are the one that is altered. You have no longer the fear of death. And so the Mangala Charanam is beautiful because we can listen to this without the fear of death. Very nice. And already it has become a teaching. The first one was also a teaching, even though it was supposedly a Mangala Charanam. Along with that, it was a teaching. So, Mrityunjayam, who invokes Mrityunjaya? Mrityubhya Shrutanam, and then the people who take refuge in Mrityunjaya are what? People who are afraid of death, who have terror of death. And then aham matihi mrityuhu upaiti purvam. Purvam means first. The first casualty of this prayer is the I notion. I am subject to death. That is the first casualty. Going, gone. Swallowed up, eaten up. Then, tataha, after this, what happens? Atha swabhavat means the one is restored to one's swabhava, which is what? One's swarupa. One's own nature. One is restored to one's own nature. And what is this nature? The nature of the I, which is free of fear. That is the nature. Abhayam pratishtham vindate athatso bhayam gato bhavati. Taittiriya Upanishad. So there is no fear. And the one who knows this, has this knowledge, has no fear at all, totally free of fear. And so therefore what? So therefore, aham matihi mrityuhu
upaiti purvam. So first casualty is that I am subject to death is the first casualty. So atha, thereafter what? Teshu, in them. Who are these? Swabhavat. Swabhavat amriteshu teshu. Swabhavat amritaha. By nature, who are immortal. Who are these people? The ones who are surrendered to Mrityunjaya. They thought they will get a new lease of life, and boy, did they get a new lease of life. They thought they will add a few years, but then what did they add? They just dropped the whole notion that I am a mortal. Mrityunjaya ate up the notion that one is a mortal. This Lord Mrityunjaya, the beautiful Lord, what did he do? He took away the mortality, that I am a mortal, that feeling was taken away. That is the wrong premise. See, if you have a wrong premise, then the prayer will also be what? Wrong. Wrong premise leads to wrong prayer. Like for example, oh Lord, please teach me how to swim in the ocean of sorrow, ocean of samsara. In this difficult ocean of samsara, full of the seaweeds of doubt, fear, kama, krodha, jealousy, and what else? Mada, matsarya, pride, and all kinds of things, greed. Teach me which is the best way to swim in the ocean of samsara. Should I use front stroke, back stroke, butterfly stroke? What is wrong with this prayer? Tell me. You are taking the samsara to be real. You are taking the samsara to be oceanic because it is insurmountable. First of all, two wrong things are there. That the samsara is an ocean and it is insurmountable. These are the two wrong premises. That I have to swim through it to get across it. So with the wrong premise, that leads to what? The wrong assumption leads to wrong prayer. Fully wrong. And this is what, to continue the Mirabai story, she herself acknowledges in one of her songs. Bhavasagar sab sukh gaya hai, fikar nahi mohe taran ki. मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर उलट भई मोहे नयनन की. I went to the Guru for swimming lessons in the ocean of samsara, but a miracle happened. What was the miracle that happened? The Guru revolutionized my vision so that the ocean itself is disappeared. He made the ocean disappear, and then what? You need to still have swimming lessons? After the ocean disappears, do you need to swim? No. A little more signs of life would be nice. Yeah. But I'll take what I can get. So, this is the thing. Do you need to swim? No need to swim. Here, the premise itself is wrong. Our prayers are wrong. Our way of looking at ourselves is wrong. Our way of looking at Ishvara is wrong. This is what is the purport of the second Mangalacharanam, the second worship verse. And here, you don't go there for a lease of life. Don't say, add years to my life, O Bhagavan. And then what? And then say, oh, help me to cross samsara, because the longer I live, the more the samsara. This ocean is but an ocean. And that has to be understood. And so the person afraid of death went to Mrityunjaya, the Lord who conquers death. And what happened to this person? The fear of death was gone. The Lord, like Pac-Man, ate up the fear of death fully. And then atha, thereafter, swabhavad amrita. The person, when the fear of death is gone, what is left is that self-evident, glorious, self without limits, the uncomplaining, non-judgmental person. Non-mental person also. non-judgmental, uncomplaining, satisfied, contented person, objective person. That is the one that is left. And who is this person who knows I am not subject to death? Why? The I has been walked over from the body, mind, sense complex to Satchidananda, to this Sat. And that is where I live, that is what it is, and that is what I have to catch. This is what Bhagavan is so beautiful here. The Bhagavan of Ramana Maharshi, instead of allowing or letting there a kind of a dependency develop between the Jiva and Ishvara. This is that is the second level of stagnation we talked about. The dependency between Jiva and Ishvara here is not allowed to develop at all. The way Bhagavan is presented by Ramana Maharshi, this dependency is totally taken away. Why is it taken away? Because that fear which makes one go to Bhagavan itself is eaten up. And so then when that is eaten up with Vedanta Shastra, that we have to add, with exposure to Vedanta Shastra. Don't say, give me ears. Give me, to Bhagavan, say, give me ears for Shravanam. Not Y-E-A-R-S, drop the Y. E-A-R-S, give me, let me listen. Let me listen without all kinds of wrong notions. Give me ears in my life. Not to add ears to my life, give me ears so that I can listen. And then Atha, that thereafter is a very pregnant thereafter. Thereafter means after approaching Guru, after the tradition, after exposure to Vedanta Shastra, after the study. Thereafter, Amriteshu Teshu, these are what by nature those who are immortal. Then what happens to them? Then Amriteshu Teshu, Katham Punaha Mrityudhiyaha Avakashaha. Where is the place? How can there be a place for even the thought of death? Mrityudhi means a buddhi which entertains death. How can there be a buddhi? How can there be any kind of a thought of a death when the fear of death itself is taken away by the combination of bhakti towards the Lord who takes away the fear of death? So that is how the grace is there needed, at least in the beginning of the study. We need a lot of grace. And you can't just bypass all this and then say, I don't need anything, because especially that means one is being a hypocrite. One is needing but not acknowledging the need. So in the beginning, a lot of grace is needed. But what kind of grace do we pray for? We pray for all the obstacles to be for the study to be utterly, completely and fully taken away. This is the second verse of Mangalacharanam. Very beautiful verse of Mangalacharanam, 2 verses. And then after this, then there is the question which is how we began. How did we begin? We began with the threefold distinction of what? Jiva, 1, 2, Jagat, 3, Ishvara. And if you want, some people are very meticulous, they want everything to start with the same letter. So you can say Jiva, Jagat, Jagadishvara. J, 3 J's. So, Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara distinction is taken up in the next several verses, of which we will do 1 or 2 just to get ourselves familiarized by how he treats this variegation. We can, let's see which one to take in these, let me see. Yeah, let's go to the second one. We'll skip the first one because there is some kind of a connection there, doesn't matter. Arabhyate jiva jagat paratma. Jiva jagat paratma. तत्त्वाभिधानेन मतं समस्तं तत्त्वाभिधानेन मतं समस्तम् इदं त्रयं यावदहमति स्यात् इदं त्रयं यावदहमति स्यात् सर्वोत्तमाहं मतिशून्यनिष्ठा सर्वोत्तमाहं मतिशून्यनिष्ठा आरभ्यते जीवजगत्परात्मा तत्त्वाभिधानेन मतं समस्तम् इदं त्रयं यावदहमति स्यात् सर्वोत्तमाहं मतिशून्यनिष्ठा आरभ्यते समस्तं matam. All the philosophies in the world, opinions, darshanas, philosophies, whatever you want to call them, they all begin. How do they begin? They all begin like this, by a distinction between Jiva, Jagat and Para Atma, Ishvara. This we have seen. We already talked about this in the introduction. So, arabhyate, matam samastam, atraiva arabhyate. Here itself is begun. What is begun? The distinction. So, tattva abhidhanena. Tattva means the truth. Okay? The truth of what? The truth of yourself. Okay? So, tattva abhidhanena. Abhidhana means the naming. After the naming of the truth. Tattva, the truth of oneself, that nameless, formless I is what we are talking of. Tattva, the truth of Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara is what? Tattva. So, Tattva Abhidhanam means the naming of this Tattva. How are we naming this Tattva? Some people are calling it Jiva, others are calling it Jagat, others are calling it Paratma. So, Jiva, Jagat, Paratma Abhidhanena. So, this is how it's begun. So, we name, this is the individual, Jiva. Who is this individual? Jaded, faded Jiva, sad, complaining, upset. And repeat, life after life, same complaints. And then, so Arabhyate, so that is one beginning. Then, what is the other one? Jagat. This is the Jagat. What is the Jagat? Everything that I want in the Jagat is this Jagat. The Jagat is generally divided into two. What is the two divisions? Mine, and then what is the other one? Not yet mine. Okay. Soon to be mine. This is the Jagat. This is how I look and reckon the Jagat. Is it not? And then Paratma, Ishvara. And soon the eyes fly up, the head flies up, the hand flies up. I don't know why. What is up there, I don't know. But this is the orientation. Bhagavan has a location. And many darshanas, what do they say? Lord is in heaven. Why has he? And they say Lord is in heaven. But who is this Lord? Formless. Why does the formless require a location? No answer. Shut up, don't ask questions. And then why is a he? Why does the formless have a gender? They are convinced it's a he, no she at all. Don't ask questions. Okay, fine. Then who made the earth? God made the earth. Then why did God repair to heaven, leaving me here with war, strife and difficulties? This is all, this is all the stuff of many theologies, including our own. Even in the Hindu theology, there are certain Dvaita Matas, means dualistic, philosophies, dualistic creeds, where the whole point is to die. If the point, why do I need to die? Because you want to become one with Ishvara. If the whole point of life is afterlife, then what for is this life? Tell me. God made a mistake? Yeah? Or is this life a bus stop where I am waiting for the bus to the afterlife? Ridiculous. So these are all unthought of philosophies. which in Sanskrit is called avichara siddha, means really there is no vichara that has been done. There is no thought given to it. Vichara has not been done, avichara siddha. Or sometimes what? Durvichara siddha, wrong thinking. So there are two kinds. These philosophies are from the collective brains, samastam matam, collective brains of two kinds of thinking. One is non-thinking, second one is what? Wrong thinking. Very good. Which is better? We'll be here forever to debate that. Both of them are problematic. If I don't think and come to the conclusion that there is no ditch, I will still fall in the ditch. And if I think wrongly that the ditch is elsewhere, I will still fall in the ditch. Both the outcome of both is what? One and the same. So then this is how all philosophies begin, all matas begin here by this one truth, which is non-divisible, which is indivisible, which is yourself, which is the truth of you alone. And then this is what is the problem. This is what is talked about. And then all these people who are doctrinaire, they give names. This is Ishvara, this is Paramatma, this is Atma, and then they make it even more confusing. Jivatma, and then Paramatma. Then the question will come, what? What is the connection between Jivatma and Paramatma? Nobody knows. And then how to become Paramatma? Nobody knows. Because they are assuming the difference to be real. Just like the ocean of samsara, when you take it to be real, then you get immediately stressed out, because then you need a boat. What kind of a boat will cross? All these things you have to think about. So here, this is not the idea at all. So here, these variegation of Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, etc. is there, inherent in that is wrong suppositions, wrong assumptions. The wrong assumptions lead to wrong philosophies. And wrong philosophies from the standpoint of where we are. Maybe the followers of those philosophies, they don't find a problem with it. No problem. This is what in the Mandukya Karika, in the Alat Shantik Prakarna, we will study this. This is what is said. Vedanta is not there to fault find with any theology. Vedanta is not there to say don't follow any theology. Vedanta is not in opposition to any theology. Vedanta transcends all theologies. All theologies are because of which truth is Vedanta, is the subject matter of Vedanta. We don't have a fight with anybody. But we have to see the limitations of these things, because we have been studying this for a long time. Without seeing the limitations, we will not be able to understand what is it that we are after. That is the only reason the limitations are pointed out. But then, as Gaudapadacharya says in the Alata Shanti, in the last chapter of the Mandukya Karika, that let them, just see. The thing is, if there are 4 different varieties of philosophies, just let them have at it. You stand and watch. You be the witness consciousness, let them have at it. And then they'll fight. After a while, they'll get tired. They'll go to sleep. And then, the Vedanta is not, it doesn't go into the fray of all these things. That is the idea. So then, Tattva Abhidhanena Matam Samastam. So, Idam Trayam. So, this triad, this group of 3, Idam Trayam, Yavam Ahamati Syat. So, meaning, this triad exists, this Triputi or this triad exists as long as the I notion is sold to those divisions. Okay? So, as long as the I notion, meaning the I thought, is sold to those divisions, I can never be the whole. I am either Jiva or Ishvara or this or that. I am not Ishvara, I am Jiva. Jagat separate from me. Other Jivas separate from me. So, Jiva yoho bhedaha. So, between one Jiva and other Jiva, what is there? Bheda. Difference is there. And the difference is not a problem, but the difference immediately in a terror-filled mind translates into what? Division. So the difference is there, the difference becomes a division, and I am terrified of divisions. So between one jiva and other jivas, what? Fear. As soon as I see somebody approaching, oh my God, what do they want? What do they want? Pujya Swamiji used to always joke. Even the richest person, I can make them poor in one trice, in 1 second. How? Ask them for a donation. And the person panics and says, I don't have anything. And the minute the person says, I don't have any money, that means what? They are becoming a beggar. This is how it is. So the I notion is very problematic so long as it's, ensconced to this. So jiva yoho bheda. Between one jiva and another jiva, there is division. And then all these things. There is division based on gender. Man, woman, and now we have so many other things. Trans, in between. And then we have, that is also a different, as soon as you have a category, then we have something to be concerned about, because each category is an entrapment. Each time you put yourself in a category or put somebody else in a category, it's an entrapment, because you can't get out of it. In the beginning it feels cozy and nice, and then after that you just have trouble getting out of it. One is stereotyped into that category. This is how identity politics works. Then there is gender bheda, division. Then there is what? Then there is color of skin. We are talking about that. Color of skin. And then what else? Gender, color of skin. And then different social class. You are working class, you are non-working class, you are this, you are management, you are labor, you are the owner. You have no right to live because you are 1% and owning 99% of the world's resources. And then all these things. So many kind of categorization between one jiva and the other, and then we have it. Therefore, what you see the effects of it in this society. You can't go out and just be free. And one is become afraid of one's people. One is become afraid. Nobody talks anymore. They just pull out a gun. And then the gun lobby, of course it's all about money, and the gun lobby keeps wanting you to buy a gun. Please buy a gun. And then what? You can carry it without a permit, or you can carry it everywhere, no problem. All these things. Why? Because of the division and the fear. The fear is what makes me want protection. That's why I want a gun. Because I'm afraid. Of what? Of you. This is what the whole thing is. And so this is the jiva yoho bheda. Jiva jagat bheda. Second kind of division is between jiva and jagat. Jagat is out to get me. Or there are many things in the jagat I have to conquer. I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to get this, I have to get somewhere, I have to be a go-getter. I have to go do all kinds of things. And then finally what? Jiva Ishvara yoho bheda. No, Jagat Ishvara bheda. Jagat is separate from Ishvara. That's why Ishvara made the Jagat, left us to suffer here, and then went and sat in heaven free of all suffering. And they say this heaven is permanent. How can the heaven, which is an experience, be permanent? If it is permanent and other than you, that means you are delimiting the permanent. It cannot be limitless if it's outside of you. If it is limitless, it should include you. Somebody told Pujya Swamiji, when missionary came and told Pujya Swamiji, you are going to hell. And Pujya Swamiji said, never mind. I will be with all the people I love. I'll be with like-minded people who are questioning all these things. So this is good. We'll have a Vedanta retreat in hell. And then when Vedanta retreat is held in hell, hell automatically becomes what? Heaven. So this is how Pujya Swamiji was very quick. Very, very quick. And so like this conversation happened in a train when he was a brahmachari. Because on the other side were some missionaries and said, oh, your Rama Krishna cannot do anything. Our God can do this and that and everything. So he said, doesn't matter. If I'm going to hell, I'll make a heaven out of it. This is what it is. So Jagat Ishvara Bheda, and then finally, and the most painful of all of them is Jiva Ishvara Bheda. The Bheda, the division between Jiva and Ishvara is very painful because I don't like it. I want to surmount it. That's why I want darshan of Ishvara. How long can you gaze at Ishvara, really? Let's say you go to heaven, okay? And you've been good all your life. And then what? Lo and behold, you are gazing at Ishvara. How long will you gaze? You'll get bored. If you go with this mind that is here, you will get bored. Then thodi der ke baad, after a little while, you look here and there. Or call aaya hai. Who else has come? Oh, this person so adharmik. How did they let him in? That lady, gossip monger. How did she come in? And then you find that, they have a bigger balcony and they have a bigger bungalow, and then the gunda, in your neighborhood has made it to heaven. And you say, oh my God, I was vegetarian for what? And for all this time, what for? Why am I doing this? And here, the roadside, the roadside, what is that? How do you translate gunda in English? Yeah, Don, very good. The roadside, this Don, the mafia Don is also here. What a terrible thing. Then you have to lodge a complaint. You have to go find the little slip to write a complaint slip and put in heaven. I object. This person, and this is the story that Pujya Swamiji used to tell. One Panditji who did Hari Katha told the stories of Krishna, went to heaven, got a nice bungalow. But the person, the mafia Don, was right next to him in heaven. He almost had a heart attack. He had in fact died of a heart attack. He almost had another one in heaven. Then what happened? Then he said, I have to lodge a complaint. He lodges a complaint. What is this? How can he come to heaven? I understand. I have done Hari Katha, everything. But then he has just not, I have brought people to God. And what has he done? He has just not done anything. He has done all bad things. And how can he be entered into heaven? This cannot be allowed. And the Sevak in heaven says, what you did, you didn't bring nobody to God, okay? All of them were grandmas and grandpas already needing to sleep. And they came and they sat in the temple because at home, they would just be asked to mind the children. They didn't want to do that. So they said, why should I babysit? Let me go to a nice cool place, sit there and just, listen to some story. And whenever the Panditji chanted, everybody went to sleep. You didn't bring anybody. What do you mean? He brought people to God. And then the Sevak in heaven said, yes, because as soon as he was on the road, everybody got scared and said, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And everybody remembered God. So therefore, he brought more people to God than you did. What to do now? This is exactly the conundrum here. This Jiva Ishvara Bheda is really the last one is the hardest one. Because I want to be with Ishvara. How are you going to be with Ishvara? I want to hold his hand. That's not possible. Why? Because you are Ishvara. You are the one that you seek. There is no Ishvara other than you. This we have to really, tattoo it on our foreheads. So that when we look in the mirror, we see that. That's what we have to do, because that orientation is very difficult to get rid of. That dualistic orientation and this inner duality really keeps on getting fostered, and the more we water it, the more the difficulties it creates in my life. And so then this triad, Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, and their variegated differences and divisions are supported by the I notion alone. And so what to do? The Ahankara is the one that needs to go. Jiva doesn't need to go, Jagat doesn't need to go, Ishvara doesn't need to go, but the Satyatvam of all of them. Satyatvam means that is real, that feeling, that assumption that they are all real, that needs to go. And what is that held by? The Ahankara, the ego. E needs to go. That's what it is. This ego, the ego means what? The ahankara, this I notion which is identified with these divisions, that needs to die. And when that dies, the division itself dies. And what is there? There is an abidance in the non-division. That is the idea. So beautiful it is. How quickly one has made short shrift of this Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara divisions. Desperate divisions. Very, very beautiful. Short shrift has been made. And then idam trayat yavat aham mati syat sarvottamaham. So what is the ideal? Sarvottama means the ideal situation is the nishtha, abidance, the abidance in that where the ego is not connected to or abiding in these divisions. Okay, so then let's see which else we will do from this section. Yeah, then he goes into, I'm just summarizing so that we don't feel a sense of disconnection. Then he goes into Panchakosha and the 5 elements and everything, and he falsifies all of them as being identified with the I notion. And that is what he does. Okay. Yeah, this one is nice. Let us see. We may also go back and forth, but we'll see that tomorrow. But one more I would like to do for today. 10th one. Vidya katham bhati na cheda vidya. Katham bhati na cheda vidya. Vidyam vina kim pravibhatya vidya. Vidya vina kim pravibhatya vidya. Dvayam cha kasyeti vicharya mula. Dvayam cha kasyeti vicharya mula. Swarupa nishtha paramartha vidya. Swarupa nishtha paramartha vidya. All kinds of dyads have to be examined. This is the section. The next section is resolving the dualities. First the triad was resolved. Now all these kinds of dualities, dharma, adharma, good, bad, righteous, unrighteous, all these things are in the head. And then so, one more such duality is what? Avidya. What is avidya? Ignorance. And vidya, knowledge. The two are seen as opposed to each other. Tamah prakashavat viruddhasvabhavayoho. Like even having opposite characteristics like light and darkness. Can light and darkness occupy the same place at the same time? Again, I am begging you to show at least one sign of life. No. Okay. Can light and darkness stay together? No. Absolutely not. Where there is light, there is no darkness. How can there be darkness? There cannot be. Because the light lights up the darkness. That's why light and darkness are seen as opposed to each other. And here is an important verse which has a very different take on the question of light and darkness. So first he says that, not light and darkness, vidya and avidya. What light and darkness represent. Vidya katham bhati nachet avidya. Avidya nachet. Suppose there is no avidya. There is no such thing called ignorance. Would you recognize knowledge? No. First, one is troubled by ignorance, and then first I say what? I'm ignorant. Guru, teach me. Then I go to the Guru, and then I say, now I have knowledge. Before I had
ignorance. How do I know I have knowledge? Because I had ignorance. So the ignorance that everybody shuns actually has a very important purpose here. What is the purpose? Because in whose presence the Vidya can shine. So the Vidya shines, and because of avidya alone, Vidya is what? Recognized. Because of which avidya, Vidya is recognized. That itself is very interesting. And then similarly, the other way also holds true. So without knowledge, there is no ignorance. Correct? Same way. Without ignorance, knowledge cannot shine. And then when there is knowledge, then only you say, I have ignorance. What is this knowledge? The knowledge that you have ignorance, what is that? That is Sat. That is you. The you that is never ignorant, that is the one. It is totally absent of ignorance. There is no ignorance whatsoever. And what is that? You. And so, Vidya cannot be there without avidya. Avidya is cognized only because of avidya. Avidya is cognized why? Because of vidya. Here, the first vidya is and avidya are on the level of mithya, or on the level of that which is on the same order of reality. The second vidya is that of the vidya that says I am. The knowledge I am. Can it ever be negated? Hello? No. Okay. It can't be negated. And then, so when I say I am, so that what am I saying? I know I am. And if I say I do not know the Mandarin language, that means what? I know I do not know. I am knowledgeable about my ignorance. I am knowledgeable about my knowledge. That knowledge which never becomes ignorance, but in whom ignorance shines as an object to be dealt with. That is who I am. Very beautiful. And then he says, and then the question is, who do these two belong to? Dvayam cha kasya iti vicharya. Having inquired, who does the avidya belong to? Who does the vidya belong to? When this inquiry is done. And so when this inquiry is done, what happens? Swarupa nishtha. One abides in one's own truth. The abidance in one's own truth is what? Knowledge of Ishvara. That is the knowledge of Ishvara. So how to do this vichara? Inquiring. Katham. Katham means how. What is this? Katham kasya. And kasya dvayam cha. Kasya cha dvayam. Kasya iti. So kasya means who does this ignorance belong to? Means what? It belongs to who? The ahankara. That is the answer. Ahankara holds on to the ignorance and says, oh, I need a guru. I don't have this. I need a guru. I don't know myself, or I don't know this. I need a teacher. I need to get rid of this ignorance. Who is saying? Ahankara is saying. And what about the other one? The other one that says, I know that I don't know. That I know does not belong to the ahankara. That belongs to the swarupa. And when I know that this is my nature, then that is the abidance alone that is there, in which the dyad of vidya, avidya totally resolve. Few more verses we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. We'll take a lunch break, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and after that, if you, what?
Lunch break, everyone, this door is closed, right? So we have to go for that?
Yeah, but,
If we had any question.
no, but
Yes,
let's,
yes, yeah.
well, let me just finish this thing. So, we'll take a lunch break and come back to here because I would like your help. I'm supposed to record for this online platform, very important platform, Indica Academy, which has done a lot of seva in bringing Vedanta to the everybody's computer, really. So they, in honor of this opening of this, what is that called, Ram temple, they want some talk on Rama, but then they know that they are dealing in Vedanta. So they asked me to talk for about an hour on what is that called, Adhyatma Ramayana, a work of 4,000 verses in 1 hour. Okay, yeah. So needless to say, we won't even be studying one verse, but just understanding the little, not even the gist, but just an idea of how it works. And so, what is this Adhyatma Ramayana? How to understand Ramayana and through the allegory of self-knowledge. What is ignorance? Like Ravana, like just to, this everybody knows. Ravana is ignorance and Rama is knowledge, like this. How to understand the various archetypes and the characters and the story itself. So we will be spending some time doing that. So I invite you to please, I request you to come back after the lunch so I can have a live audience to do this. It's much better than sitting in a room and doing it. Okay, so that is the thing. So are there any questions before we finish up?
What
Yes.
time?
In about an hour we'll come back. Come back exactly at, what time is it now? It is 12. We'll come back at 1. 1 to 2, I'll finish it off so that everybody can go home and rest or do whatever else you need to do. Okay? Did we say the closing prayer? Yes?
Yeah.
All right. Om Tat Sat.